Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome on in to Manga Review Monday. This will be my second time doing this. Today we're going to review, the regular, the One Piece, My Hero, Black Clover. There was no Jujutsu Kaisen this week, so we're not going to do that. And we're going to do Ayashimon, Kaiju number 8, and My Hero Vigilantes, because those two came out this week. So, I posted a YouTube video yesterday. I wonder if all of y'all looked at it or anything. So tell me how it was if you've seen the video or anything. That's why we're not playing the R&B like we played last week. So, but welcome on in. I'm conflicted right now because I don't know if I should show the scans like I did last time. I don't know. I might show the manga just for reference, because I had some people tell me to watch out with the scans. Let's get started. Oh, warning. Spoilers! 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 If you haven't been up to date with everything, it's a spoiler. So, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler fucking alert. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna show the scans anyway. Because you know what? Fuck it. Alright, we're going to start off with the GOAT One Piece right here. It's a pretty interesting chapter. We actually get a look back into Zoro's past. Not particularly about Zoro, per se, but more about his hometown, Shimotsuki Kozaburo. If any of y'all remember, Zoro is from Shimotsuki Village. So Zoro is fighting King right now, and he was having trouble with Emma, his new sword that Odin wielded. I guess Emma is sucking the power out of him. Pause. When Zoro thought he landed a good hit on him, King explodes. And then it goes back to when Sanji is fighting Queen. So Queen is telling Sanji how difficult of an opponent that King is. So the fight goes back to Zoro and King. So Zoro hits King with one of his strongest attacks, but it did nothing to him. So Zoro loses one of his swords. So he risks his life to save a sword. So Zoro was thinking, like, damn. He didn't really think about it before until now. He was like, damn. And he's thinking about the past, how people were telling him that the sword he picked was a cursed sword. But Zoro, he a real nigga. He's like, fuck it. I like cursed swords. But when Zoro went to go save his sword, King berates him. Is like, damn, you're gonna die just to save a sword, motherfucker? And then Zoro's other sword, which he got from his best friend dying, the Wado Ichimonji. So the same Tengu nigga was like, oh, I see you have the white blade, Wado Ichimonji. And Emma, the new sword he has, they were crafted by the same man. So in the back of Zoro's mind, he's thinking, how the fuck did a Wano sword come all the way to the East Blue? To where his hometown was. He's thinking about the past. He was saying Sanaichi. And then Momo was telling Zoro, we don't say that word. And Zoro was like, fuck, I don't give a fuck. Just some old man around my village said that bullshit. All he knew was like, the old man that he's talking about was Kuina's grandfather, who we all know died from sickness, who also wanted to be the best swordsman in the world. So Zoro remembers a conversation he had with the old man. Zoro was doing his training, and the old man was sitting there like, the dojo's not enough for you? He was like, no, I'm tired of Kuina whipping my ass, bruh. So the old man gave Zoro 2 swords. He was like, these 2 swords are crap anyway, so he was like, might as well let a kid have it. Just keep chopping down shit, chop it up, chop it up, chop it up, chop it up. Just keep chopping it up, bro. It's a bullshit sword anyway. You can't kill nobody with these. So he was telling Zoro that a sword is like a kitchen knife, but for murder. They're created to kill people, and each sword has a personality. So the old man was telling them that there's no such thing as a cursed blade. That just means the weak can't use the sword. And then he said when he was a young man, he crafted a sword, and then he named it after the king who watches hell, which is Enma. So that's when Zoro realized that the old man was the blacksmith named Shimitsuki Kozaburo, which is named after Shimakutsu village. The Tengu nigga, he said the blacksmith Shimitsuki Kozaburo, he broke the laws and left Wano 50 years prior to this story. So that's when he realized that the old man was a samurai of Wano, and that's why a blade of Wano was in East Blue. And that's when he remembered that the sword chooses his wielder. And Emma's doing nothing but testing him right now. That's why Emma's taking all his haki right now. So he was like, damn, the reason Odin was wielding this sword is because he was using haki all the time. So he was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to just keep using haki, even if it kills me. Because you know Zoro a real nigga. And these are all of Kaido's flunkies. They saw that Zoro was right there and like, hey, let's help out King. And that's when you also realize Zoro also has Conqueror's haki. And he knocks them out just by standing up and using his haki. And King was like, hey, so you also have kingly ambitions. You also intend to be a king. And that's when Zoro remembered, like, hey, Luffy told Zoro that he wants the world's greatest swordsman around him because he's going to be the king of the pirates. So that Zoro was like, yes, I do have kingly ambitions. He has a promise to keep to his captain and his best friend. And that's the end of the chapter right there. Overall, this was a fire chapter. This chapter was flames. Flames. So I give this chapter a 10 out of 10. Perfect. 10 out of 10. Definitely a flame chapter, bro. But you know, they're not going to fight in the next chapter. They probably going to switch over to like Sanji or something. Because you know, on One Piece, Sanji always defeats his opponent first, and then Zoro, and then Luffy. Kid and Law, they're fighting Big Mom right now, so it's a lot of big battles still going on right now. So we know the next one. Next up. Oh, not Black Clover. My Hero Academia. Which is also an interesting chapter. Well, it's not. It doesn't get interesting until the end, but it was a pretty good chapter. Yeah, let's dive into it. Let's dive into this motherfucker. So, the chapter starts off with Deku asking All Might if Star did like lasting damage to Shigaraki, and All Might is just giving, you know, he's giving this like his 2 cents or whatever about the analysis and everything. He was telling them that New Order ate away at Shigaraki like it was poison. All Might is going over the briefing and how many people they have to fight left. How many people left they got to fight. So, and they're saying that this is the best time that they can take down Shigaraki. But All Might is saying that Shigaraki is definitely number 1 on the list. He's definitely number 1 on the list. Number 2 is All for One. Number 3 is Dabi, who's just as strong as Endeavor right now. Number 4 is Himiko Toga. Then they still got the 6 remaining high-end, near high-end, was Nobus. the remnants of the Liberation Front, and still like all the villains that were that escaped the prison. So as All Might is telling like all the people of Class 1A this, Class 1A was like, you know what? Fuck it, we got this shit. We gonna whip their ass. He was asking if they was ready. You know Bakugo, he the nigga that be yelling that shit. He was like, oh yeah, nigga, we out here, nigga. We hard body out here, nigga. That's us, hard fucking body, nigga. And it goes on to show him that Class 1A was still training while Deku was out here being Batman and shit, going solo dolo. Deku was out here going solo dolo for like a year or two, for like a year. Everyone else has been training, trying to get back with Deku. All Might is thinking about the day Class 1A first started under him. So he was like, they all come together. All Might is he's actually thankful and glad that Class 1A is actually getting stronger, and that they're strong enough to even stand up against All for One and all the villains that he collected and mustered. So it goes back to the villains. Shigaraki is still in pain from fighting Star. That nigga's in pain. Like all the quirks in his body was like getting taken out one by one. That shit was, oh man, Star fucked this man up. And Shigaraki and All for One, they share the same hatred right now. They both hate All Might right now. All for One is saying that their minds are fusing together, and he's telling everyone that they have to wait until Shigaraki gets his body to get perfect. And Dabi, this nigga, he don't want to hear none of that shit. He don't give a fuck about none of that shit. He's like, I want to kill my father right now. I want to beat that nigga ass. And All for One is like, you know what, Dabi? You and me are alike, you know? You and me are alike. But unlike you, I plan. I plan ahead of time. I plan ahead days, weeks, months, years, decades. I just plan. I plan and scheme. Unlike you, Dabi. I just plan, and plan. And I got one more plan in motion. He was like, damn, all my plans from back then are to set one goal now. And he was like, hey, I got friends to spare. But the real main reason that I say that the traitor was revealed, All for One said he has friends to spare. What do these gloves look like to you? So fucking Invisible Girl was the fucking traitor this whole time. Invisible Girl. She might be the traitor. Invisible Girl. This was the most predictable thing Horikoshi could have ever did. Because everyone was thinking, hey, maybe Invisible Girl is the traitor. Maybe she's the traitor because she's invisible. No one would know. No one would know what she's doing because she's always invisible. She's just invisible. Which actually makes sense. But I didn't expect him to be that damn predictable. I did not expect him to be that damn predictable. I'd rather the traitor be someone that I held close in my heart. Like Suyu or something. Suyu. Hell, they could have even made Bakugo the damn traitor. It would have hurt my heart. But that's something I wouldn't have expected. Invisible Girl, that's something very, very expected. It was too easy to make her. Invisible Girl might be revealed as the traitor. I give this chapter a 7 out of 10. That was definitely too cliche. This is why I give the chapter... I'm going to give this chapter a 7 out of 10. Having Invisible Girl be the traitor, that's too cliche. Way too cliche. That's the only reason why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. On to the next one. We're on to Black Clover. Another one of these, well, you know, chapters. Wasn't anything to brag about. So, where we left off, the Black Bulls, they got into their Megazord to fight they got into their Megazord to fight the devil, Lucifero. And Lucifero has Yami and Vengeance inside his core. So if they get Yami and Vengeance at his core, the whole monster explodes. But the thing is, that nigga's too damn strong. His gravity thing is way too strong. It's the same devil that possessed Dante. The same devil that Yuno was fighting. So his gravity is too strong. So basically they're fighting the king of devils right now. And his gravity power is way too strong for anyone to handle. So they're having the combined powers of the Fire brother and sister, along with the Black Bulls, but it's still not enough. So the big ass Black Bull Megazord's doing like real Megazord shit and start shooting this nigga. But you know what? It's never enough. So he's using his gravitational power to fuck that Megazord up, bruh. He is fucking them up. He is fucking everyone up in the town. See all this gravity and shit? This gravity is fucking everybody up. And they was like, somebody help us. And then the Black Bulls was like, it's gonna be okay. Isn't that right? As you can see, this is Yami sword coming out the book. And Asta's ready to, this nigga Asta ready to go. And that's the end of the chapter right there. I give this chapter a 6 out of 10. I give it a 6 out of 10. Wasn't bad, wasn't good, but you know, it was cool. Nigga, do you see how swole Asta is, bruh? Look how swole this nigga is. But yeah, on to the next one. Since I've been doing Ayashimon last week, I'm gonna do chapter 3 of Ayashimon. Again, it's about a guy named Maru. Yeah, but like I said last week about Ayashimon, it's about Maru who wants to be a manga protagonist, and he runs into Urara, who wants to take over the Yakuza world. But the thing is, yeah, so this is the 3rd chapter of Ayashimon. As Urara is telling, she's telling Maru not to wander off into the city. Don't go off with strangers and everything, because don't go off with strangers. And he was like, I've been to a city before, girl. What you mean? And she was like, oh, really? You sure? So as soon as he saw the city with the bright lights, this man was overwhelmed. He ain't never seen that many people before, so she calls him a country bumpkin. And she was trying to tell him, don't go wandering off. Don't go wandering off and doing all that stupid shit. That's how you get caught up in this world. Because the Ayashimon, they're sneaky. And she was like, I'll show you how thrilling Kabukicho really is. So Urara is telling Maru that this part of Tokyo is where the police let anything go. So that means the Ayashimon can come out and do what they fuck they want. This human right here owed some nigga money, so he was like, hey, take care of this broke trash. And you saw they ate this nigga whole, bruh. That's wild as shit. She was telling them this is the feeding zone. Cops turn a blind eye to human deaths around here. Most of the sex work is illegal, but it's controlled by the Yakuza. And as I told you before, everyone in the Yakuza is Ayashimon. So this nigga just fucked a monster and didn't even know it. The only ones that are in the dark about this whole world is the humans. So when humans want their humanly desires, they come to the city. But they don't know that they come to the city to die. So all the humans are lured in with the bright lights. So they're weak and gullible. So as they're walking by, they see this guy right here who's picking on this guy right here because he tried to jip him. So she's telling him that a lot of disputes are between Ayashimon, and a lot of their disputes, they get with the hands or they kill somebody. And Maruro's like, well, I'm not listening because Maruro just wants to read his manga. He was like, I'll leave all the thinking and all that bullshit to you. And she was like, damn, I thought you'd be a lot more excited about this. But as you see in the bottom, the fight's starting to break out between the two Ayashimon. And he's turning to his form, so he was like, no, I don't want to fight right now. And this nigga was like, nigga, I'm gonna fight your punk ass, bitch ass nigga, cursing up a motherfucking storm and shit. So and all the other Ayashimon, they're like, damn, you know what? We're just gonna sit here and watch this nigga. We're not gonna do anything to interfere or nothing. We're just gonna be here. And Maru was like, damn, aren't we gonna help him? Like a regular protagonist would be like. And she was like, boy, don't be stupid. That boy is probably a lackey of some gang. I bet he came here with Tokyo making dreams to make it big. But in that part of Japan, it's the survival of the fittest. And she was like, you know what? That's perfect. When he gets his ass whooped, we're just going to follow him and take over his gang. So Maruo was like, oh, you want to take over that wuss's place? And she was like, all I want is the office. I don't give a fuck about that bitch ass nigga. But Maruo, like a regular manga protagonist, is like, he can't watch this shit no more. So he steps in. And she was like, nigga, I didn't give you permission to step in. And he was like, but you're going to take over his gang, right? So might as well do it now. He was like, hey, I'll help you out if you want to let me take over your gang. And he's like, what? So this nigga is like, who the fuck are you? And then he transforms to like a fire demon. So this nigga transforms to this big ass fire demon. And he punches Maruo. So he was like, whoa, an awesome fighter just went in. And he was like, hey, he calls Urara elder sister. He was like, elder sister, the whole strong eat the weak stuff isn't hype at all. I like when the strong eats the strong. He's one of those protagonists that want to fight the strongest people in the world, like fucking Goku and all them and shit. So the fire nigga's cursing up a storm again, and he shot a fireball out of his mouth. And he was like, huh, this is fire. This is real fire. So this nigga just grabs the door, picks the door up. Okay, so he picks the door up, and he blocks the flames with the door. The only problem is, he grabbed a metal door with his dumb ass. She was like, he's strong. And she's like, he's strong as shit, but he doesn't really have a lot of brains. So she was like, hey, you should point the flames up so the sprinklers can get active. This nigga was like, oh, sprinklers? Fuck it, I'm gonna just jump up there and hit the sprinklers. And she was like, that's not what the fuck I meant. Nigga's a dumbass. He was like, now this is a good old fashioned fist fight. You don't gotta use your flames anymore. We can just go hand to hand, man, mano a mano. Let me just beat you with these hands, nigga. And he was like, hey, the fire nigga shot the fireball and he named his technique. He was like, hey, I've always wanted to name my technique like a manga protagonist. So he's like, so as he was reminiscing, he was like, I thought of this cool ass name right here. Eat this. Ultimate Final Conquering Destructo Heavenly Truth. And he didn't even get to finish the name of his technique because he already won. Like off some One Punch Man type shit. One punch and that was it. So he was like, huh? Burst that nigga body all over the restaurant. That shit had to have been nasty, bruh. Yo, imagine you working there and then a head just flops up in your fucking plate, nigga. I'd be so pissed. I would be so fucking pissed. And that's where the chapter ends. Overall, I give this chapter a 9 out of 10. I'm liking the direction it's going to. It's only been 3 chapters in, and I really like Ayashimon. I fuck with it. I fuck with it heavy. It definitely might be one of those big animes in the future. I can see it already. We're gonna do Kaiju number 8. This is something I've been reading. Kaiju number 8. It's about this guy named Kafka who wants to join their version of the military so they can fight Kaiju. But every time he took the test, he failed. So he's like a 30-year-old. He's like a 30-something-year-old man right now. He's stuck with like cleaning duty. All he does is clean up all the junk that. So after all the people that fight the Kaiju in the beginning of the story, because he failed all those tests and shit, and he failed like all the physical training and all that shit, he was tasked to be up on the cleanup crew. And the cleanup crew, they clean up all the guts and shit that's left out there by the Kaiju. So that was his job. Until a Kaiju attacked him out of one of the guts. And when the Kaiju attacked, he was willing to sacrifice himself. But that's when backup came up and shot the Kaiju. But little did he know, there was a little bit of Kaiju left inside. So when he woke up in the hospital, the part of the Kaiju went and ate him. But it didn't eat him like all the way completely. It actually turned him into a Kaiju, which is why his name is called Kaiju number 8. So basically, in all the Kaiju number 8, Kafka tries to join the military again. This is his final try. But this time he's doing it with like the Kaiju powers. But he's doing it in like secret. He's learned how to control his power and shit, to the point that he doesn't turn into a Kaiju when he uses his monster strength. He eventually passes his tests and all that shit, and he finally makes it. But after a few arcs, they find out that Kafka actually is Kaiju number 8 when he saves everyone and becomes Kaiju number 8. So when they find out that he's a Kaiju number 8, they have a test for him. So the general director of the force fights Kafka just to test his will, just to test to see if he's a Kaiju or a human, and he fights Kafka. Eventually, Kafka passes his test, and he's sent into the first division of the force, which is run by this guy right here. And on their first mission, they had to fight Kaiju number 9, who is also a strong giant Kaiju. He defeated one part of Kaiju number 9, and Kafka defeated the other. But they was like, damn, this is too easy. Kaiju number 9's real objective was to get the old man, the old director, the Director General Shinomiya, who is the father of one of the main characters, Kikoru. You'll see more Kikoru later. Kikoru was actually she's like real strong. I think she's like the tritagonist of the story. She's like the third most important character. So this nigga right here is telling the old director it's time for him to evacuate. And he was like, you know what? He knows how to track my location, so there is no evacuation for me. He was like, I'm going to fight to the end. I'm a real nigga. I'm going to fight this shit to the end. Director Shinomiya, he fights using the guts of Kaiju number 2. So he's able to they turn like the big the Dai Kaiju, which was like number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them. They turned them into weapons. So he has the weapon of number 2. So he's using all his power to fight like a Kaiju. So he's fighting the real number 9 using the number 2's release. So the old man is fighting the Kaiju right now, and he's only fighting with one arm because he broke his Kaiju number 9 broke his arm in the last chapter, and he's just hitting him with barrages of punches. So he punched Kaiju number 9's head off, and this nigga's like, nice. But that's not enough. He was like, you know what? Show me more. So they still get to fighting. Kaiju number 9 is fighting with no head. And he was like, damn, this motherfucker's strong. He's strong as shit. He was like, but that's not it. He's not only strong. He was like, damn, I realize I'm getting weak as shit. I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm just a shadow of myself when he was standing next to her, which was his wife. And Kokoru's mother, who was also a main character in the story, which I said earlier. And as he was doing this realization, he got gut punched in the stomach. So this nigga is telling him to like go on the defensive. You should do this. At this rate, you're gonna die, Captain. But he was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. If I go on the defensive, I'm gonna die anyway. So I'm gonna just go on the offense. So he's letting Kaiju number 2's muscles overtake his own muscles to fix his broken arm. And he's telling him, sir, you have to stop. You're going to sustain too much damage and you'll never fight again after this. And he was like, you know what? That's fine by me. We got a whole bunch of future dogs in this joint. And this is Kokoru right here. That's his daughter. And this is the nigga I was talking about with the little implant in his eye. This nigga is vicious. He was like, the next generation's already fire, so there's no reason for my old ass to still be here. He was like, just for this one last battle, he's like, I'm gonna do what his wife did against number 6. She died against number 6. As you know, still not enough. He's getting his ass whooped. The old man's just out here getting his ass whooped. And he was thinking about the past because Kokoru told her mother that she was going to join the defense force. And she was like, I'd never imagined she'd suggest that herself. And he was like, you know what? It runs in the family, nigga. What you mean? He's like, I say it's no big deal. But she was like, damn, I feel conflicted. The mother was like, I feel conflicted because this is a very dangerous line of work. And so she was like, if she really does choose to go down that path, she plans on hardening her heart so she could train her to instill her with the power to survive, which means the father was supposed to take over and give her all the type of love and attention, but he never got the chance to do that because the mother died in battle, so she never got to train her. And instead of loving their daughter the way that they're supposed to, he ended up hardening his heart so he can train her. So he was like, damn, I'm kind of regretting that, but I'm kind of not regretting it. He was like, I haven't been able to do anything fatherly for Kokoru, so the least I can do is to eliminate this damn threat so that he won't exist in her future. And that's where the chapter ends right here. This was a pretty fire chapter. I'm also give this chapter a 9 out of 10 because it went into director Shinomiya's past, as well as the fist fight that he's having with Kaiju number 9. All of it was just fire. And you learn that he really did actually love his daughter. He just couldn't show it. He just couldn't show that he loved her like that. 50 chapters in, Kaiju number 8, fire. Y'all should read it. It'll be a fire anime too. This is one of those that's going to be a fire anime. Alright, last but not least, surely not least, My Hero Academia Vigilantes. If you haven't read My Hero Academia Vigilantes, this actually happens like at least 5 years before the story even happens. And it's about this kid named Koichi who's in college, but his quirk, he wasn't able to become a hero. He wasn't able to go to a hero school and none of that. He failed like the first entrance exams, but he always wanted to help people. So he would always do like small things like pick up the trash, do all this, that. But as like the story goes on, he grows stronger and stronger and stronger. Instead of being like an actual punching bag to villains, he can actually dodge villains, and his signature move is just to dodge villains until a real hero shows up, like a hero with like a license. He's basically like the Flash, but he has to go on all fours to actually use his speed. So he's kind of like the Flash and Spider-Man at the same time. The Crawler. That's why he's called the Crawler. And we're in the final arc of Vigilantes, so Oh, this nigga right here, Knuckle Duster. Knuckle Duster right here. He has no powers, but this nigga's vicious. He like Batman. And this is Pop. She started out her career just going around in like a hero suit and started singing, doing like shows. And Koichi's favorite hero is All Might, of course. That's why he always has a All Might hoodie. But fast forward, since we're in the final like chapters of Vigilantes, the main villain, whose name is Number 6. In the past, we find out that Knuckle Duster actually did have a quirk, and he actually used to be a hero. He used to be a licensed hero and everything. His name was O'Clock. Knuckle Duster, he got his quirk stolen from All for One. And All for One gave the quirk to Number 6, which was like a androidish kind of. Number 6 was built in a lab. And Number 6, he always thought O'Clock was his hero. Which is also another speed quirk just like Koichi. But everyone's speed quirk works different. O'Clock's quirk, it works. Everything he does is fast. He even thinks fast. But if he thinks too fast, it's one of those things like where you think too fast, your body's not able to catch up type thing. That's how fast his quirk works. Where Koichi's, his quirk, his body moves faster than his mind does. So he's the natural enemy of Number 6. And at first, all this began because he was looking for a drug that amplified people's quirks and made them turn into villains. But you get to see like Aizawa before he becomes a teacher. You get to see Ida's brother when he was Ida's brother in his prime before his legs and shit got broken and all that. You actually get to see Stain before he becomes Stain. Stain before he became Stain, he was actually saving everybody. He was a hero too. In Vigilantes, he was actually killing villains instead of killing heroes. But after his fight with Koichi and Knuckle Duster, he became more of a hero killer. So Number 6 wants to kill everyone Koichi loves because he's real jealous of Koichi. He's jealous of his life. As their fight goes on, 6 is in his final form. So he's just trying to outrun 6 until All Might gets there. And this is back when All Might was in his prime. He would save the day in like under a minute. That nigga All Might was vicious, boy. So Koichi's trying to buy himself some distance to strike back because he can't take all the bombs. He can't run away from all the bombs forever. So he's taking a deep breath before he holds his breath and run at top speed again. And they're making like a big ass light show up top. And then you see a helicopter. A helicopter is watching all that footage. So Koichi is like, oh, there's a camera guy in that helicopter. So that means a hero can actually finally come. But what happened in that city, Number 6, he did like a whole EMP. So no one can reach out, no one can reach in. And Number 6 actually made, so you see All for One right here is like, damn. They have choppers and they have cameras now. So the party ends here, Number 6. Shall we move into the next phase? So Number 6 is like, there's no need. Killing him with all my strength, all the strength I can muster is his one and only goal. His sole desire for everything. Go on then, show me what you've got. So he's going all out against Koichi. But Koichi is actually dodging shit that he doesn't even know he's dodging. He doesn't even know that he's dodging most of this shit. And he was like, damn, the bombs went off behind me? What the fuck? But he can't go back there because all the bombs went off right behind him. And this nigga's about to punch the shit out of him. So he's using his quirk to dodge all his punches. And Number 6 just becomes nothing but a skull. And he's thinking like, damn, he's falling off the sky? Is this nigga dead? And in the bottom right here, these are all the Nomu that he brought over. These are all the bomber villains, which were, as we know now, Nomu. So Number 6 made all of them look like regular people. He was like, I see. So this is what you've been mustering all your strength for. You just want to use all the bomber villains to regain your strength and then detonate. Yeah, all of these Nomu, they can detonate anywhere. So they just explode to give him some more power. This is number 6 final act, and this is where the chapter ends. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Because Koichi, he's been fighting for his fucking life. He really has been fighting for his life. He doesn't even know how he's surviving right now. And this has been one of the better fights of Vigilantes. Because Koichi doesn't really fight like that. His power is to more so run away and shit. That's it for all the manga reviews for the week. Thank everyone that's been watching. If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button down there. It would really help. I appreciate it. You should follow and subscribe your boy Humble Monk 75. Yeah, yeah!